For those of you who don't know, when I designed my dream Genshin Impact character kit, it was an infusion-based Anemo DPS, and just a couple months later, here we are with the very first one being introduced for version 5.2. So in this video, we're going to talk about Chasca and everything that we know about her, from all the possible teammates that might make her great, as well as any potential issues and potential great things about her that she may have. We're going to discuss what we know for sure and what we can't know until she releases. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. I will admit, Chasca and I have been on a bit of a roller coaster with regards to her design. When I first saw her, she was one of my favorite designs in the game. I love her outfit and her Chlorand inspiration, as well as the Acheron inspiration I see in her. And when I first saw her riding the gun, I did find it quite off-putting. It's very weird, very different, and I really had a strong negative reaction. It's really not what I wanted out of her kit. I felt like I wanted an archer, but I get what they're going for, and despite Natlan being a nation of war, people have really underestimated how much technology there is in Natlan. So like looking at lore, there's a lot of good reasons why there is so much forward technology in Natlan and why Natlan feels so modern despite not being what you think. And Genshin really loves to subvert expectations. They almost never go the expected route with something like this. Honestly, there's been a lot more war in Natlan than I thought that there would be. But when you look at Chasca's kit, it does make sense if you understand the background for all of that. That being said, again, I did still find it quite weird and quite off-putting at first. But after watching the live stream, after watching everything through and seeing her in game, the way that they're showcasing it, it did grow on me a fair bit. So overall, I am excited for her. She's not like one of my super top characters that I've ever been excited for, but I think, you know, maybe after playing her, I will change my mind, because she does look quite fun, and infusing the elements and having the RNG aspect to it, it could be really, really fun. There's also something I really don't want us to forget about, and that's her exploration. Like, obviously, people watch this channel for meta, right? People watch this channel because they want to know who is strong and who my thoughts are and what is fun. Like, not just meta for strength, but also meta for comfort, meta for fun, meta for enjoyability. And I'm giving my perspective after building and testing every character. But I do want us to remember that a lot of us playing this game, hopefully you guys are like me and you guys actually enjoy exploring the open world as well. Most of the time playing this game, at least before I started my channel, was exploring the open world. And obviously, I don't know what kind of content I would make about exploring the open world. So I haven't thought of what to cover exactly, but it's looking like she's going to be one of the best, if not by far the best exploration character in the game. It looks like, I mean, with the Natlan stuff, she will definitely fly farther than Wanderer, who I feel flies not as far as I would really like. And maybe, I mean, she's flying an absolute ridiculous distance here, but it seems like it's in some sort of mini game mode. So this is obviously not indicative of how far she'll be able to fly in normal exploration. But that's something I'm going to test, and that's something I'm going to include in my review. Because when we're looking at getting characters, it's not just about their DPS potential. You're getting a whole kit. You're getting a whole character. Hopefully a character that you can use in the overworld. And there's some characters that feel really bad in the overworld, despite being really meta. Oh my god, I just realized I've been covering up Chasca's thigh. We all know that you guys who are getting Chasca, like, a good 40% of why you're wishing for her is exactly right here, right? And I've been covering it the entire video. That is absolutely sacrilegious of me. So anyways, yeah, I think it'd be less damaging for me to do this. This is more important, right? Anyways, I think her animations look really good, despite what you might think about her design or her, art translating into the model or all these things. Personally, I think they look good, but her animations, the polish on everything, it's top notch. It looks amazing. So, okay. Now, oh, thigh. There, see, they know. They absolutely know. So obviously, I keep up to date pretty heavily with other creators that do sort of calculations and pre-release calculations on how good they think a character will be. So between Jeff, the Genshin Scientist, other creators, I think it's looking like Chasca is going to definitely be at least one of the stronger DPSs. And maybe if the RNG works out, hey, maybe she can even rival some of the really high DPS characters like Arlecchino and Mualani. But of course, it seems like she's going to have much less team flexibility. By the way, if you want to win a copy of Chasca or win a copy of Neuvillette or Linny or Zhongli or any of the characters that are in the next patch, we are working with Tactor to do a giveaway. So go check out my articles down below and enter into the giveaway. It's absolutely free. We're also going to be giving away an Archon next patch. And if we somehow, I know this is not going to happen, but if we somehow reach 100,000 subscribers before Mawika releases, I will give away 3 additional Mawika, so that's 4 additional Mawika. And we did gain a ton of subscribers yesterday after I announced this challenge to you guys. If we were on that pace, we would smash the goal. I think I've had something like 800,000 unique viewers fairly recently, within like the last number of months. So I know you guys are out there. I know it's possible that we can hit 100,000 subscribers. But if you do or don't, it's totally fine. Just watching the video is more than enough. That used to be my end of the video tagline until I stopped asking people to subscribe every video. I just remembered that. OGs will remember that. So the other thing we really can't forget about is the RNG in her kit. Is she definitely infuses her bullets, because she infuses her bullets based on the elements of the teammates you have in your party. And as you can see here, they're infusing in this particular order, but it's not a consistent order. It's completely random. And so whether or not you're going to vape or overload or electrocharge or reverse vape or melt or whatever you end up doing, or not get a reaction at all, depending on how it goes, is going to be RNG dependent. And the RNG is something that's hard to calculate. It reminds me of how Mualani plays more than anything, because when you use Mualani's burst, it doesn't even crit the first time, more than likely. And then there's other different RNG things. And basically, about a third of the time your run is completely griefed, maybe even more. She's just inconsistent like that. So maybe Chasca's the same. Maybe it's reset impact. And if you want to have a good clear, yeah, she's going to be consistent enough for that. Same with Mualani, in my opinion. But if you want to have like a great clear and actually surpass the other good DPSs, then you're going to have to reset for it more than likely. And I think that this is fine. I think that's actually a fine way to balance a character. Some characters have a more consistent average, and then some characters, depending on if you reset, depending on just RNG, they can exceed that and do better, and you have to factor that in when deciding what character you consider better, what character you want to get. So that's just another factor I really want to talk about and make sure you guys are mindful of. Obviously, I'll be testing this, so I'll let you know, but it seems like it is going to be RNG based and RNG dependent. And my general thing is to test them with every single team. So if we're looking at Chasca teams, it seems like the main team, like she's always going to want to use Bennett. This is a problem that attack scaling characters just have. And I would actually call it a problem. It's because Bennett is so strong. They have to account for Bennett when they're making a character, because if they don't, then putting Bennett on the team is just going to make attack scalers way too good. And they don't want to make a Bennett for HP and for defense, because they don't want to shoehorn one character into being on every HP team. So HP scaling characters like Neuvillette, Mualani, they're inherently tuned with higher multipliers off the rip, because they don't have to run Bennett. And also, Bennett, it restricts you to a Bennett circle. So it creates this weird thing where attack scaling characters are almost essentially gimped because they have to run Bennett. Now, hopefully, a new character will come out soon, be it the Pyro Archon or the Pyro Traveler. I personally expect Pyro Archon to be a Xiangling upgrade and Pyro Traveler to be a Bennett side grade. That's personally what I expect. Maybe I'll make another video where I talk about why I expect that. But that's what I think is going to happen. So I expect Chasca teams to open up quite a bit when we do get the Pyro Traveler and the Pyro Archon. But for now, she's going to be mostly really wanting Bennett. That doesn't mean that I'm only going to test Bennett teams, but it means that Bennett teams are going to be the most meta by a lot. And you guys know I like running the strongest team for each character, but I don't feel like you have to or that you should. It's just, what else am I going to talk about, right? If I don't talk about which characters are the strongest. If you don't have some sort of metric. So I think it's going to be, and the other thing is that Furina is also very strong. And because Chasca has so few buffers that are available to her, I've talked about this before, but she doesn't work with Xilonen, right? Xilonen can't really buff Anemo. She doesn't work with really Kazuha. Kazuha can't give Anemo damage bonus. She doesn't, well, he can swirl Pyro and give Pyro damage bonus. I guess she kind of works with those characters, but her passives require her, you actually need to absorb an element, and it's based on the characters you're running. So although she can be buffed by those characters, then you're not getting as many elemental shots because you're not running those characters. So I'm going to try it, but it's going to be probably pretty mid. But Bennett Farina teams are going to be the biggest, and so Auroron, who's going to be on banner, and this is going to be good, right? Most people will wish for Farina, will have Farina. Most people who get Chasca will get at least one copy of Auroron. And then you're going to have probably her best team. And I imagine we can run Fischl. I imagine we can run Xiangling. We're going to try Yai. Now, if we're already running Bennett, Yai can't snapshot Bennett. So Fischl is probably going to outperform Yai overall, and Yai needs way too much energy to burst to get more AoE potential, and she takes more field time. So even though she does more damage, overall Fischl is probably going to outperform here. Who else can we consider as an off-field DPS? We could do something silly, like Shenhe, because of course, Shenhe, like remember, Chasca is going to infuse her bullets with an element, and so she's gonna infuse with cryo, and then get a cryo, then get Shenhe's cryo buff, and maybe you can get a melt, right? If you're running Shenhe with Xiangling or something like that. That sounds really weird. And maybe you get some Anemo swirls, and swirls can proc Shenhe's quills as well. Shenhe herself is gonna proc some quills. Sounds weird, but maybe we can give it a try. We'll obviously try something more like Rosaria as well. Because she doesn't do normal attacks, she won't work with someone like Yelan. Unfortunate. We could do something like Mona, but if you're running Mona Farina, you're not getting very many vapes, so that's probably bad. But Mona does have Omen, and she does path Thrilling Tales, and she will buff one vape with her C1, so we're gonna give it a try. We could try a Sara. Sara buffs attack, and you're gonna get an Electro Bullet. Maybe you get, I don't know. Right? Because we're going to try the not just optimal stuff. And then I won't rewrite everything right now on this video, but we're going to try combinations of these characters together without either Farina or without Bennett, and see what we can do. We'll replace Bennett with other healers like Charlotte, and we'll replace Farina with other buffers and off-field DPSs, and we'll try them out and we'll see what's going to work. It's most likely going to be, like, people are saying that Auroron and Xiangling are going to be the best, but I'm going to try it out because that's what we do here. So we talked about teammates. That's the thing I care about most. She might have some gameplay issues given that she's hovering up in the air, but I think unlike Wanderer, she has a decent amount of interruption resistance. As you can see, she's getting pegged here in the head, right there, and she's completely fine. So it's hard to say exactly how much she'll have, but given that, that's looking pretty good for her. Being a ranged character, it is possible that it's easier to stay in Bennett's circle because you can hit the enemies from far away. So overall, I think I see her quality of life being pretty good. I think I see her being pretty fun, and it's just a question of, I don't know, there's often some gameplay issues that you don't really see coming sometimes. And, you know, there were a lot with Mulaney, which I talked about in my initial video. And then sometimes there's like no gameplay issues, and that makes characters like Novelette way better than they looked in the beginning. Some things you just don't know. I'm sure she's gonna have the usual Natlin stuff where her early constellations and weapons are just absurdly strong. I'm sure that'll be the case. And I'm sure, like every Natlin character has been so far, it seems like they really want the Pyro Archon to really pop off and do their best damage. And looking at Chasca's kit and looking at the teams we're gonna play, it really looks to me like the Pyro Archon is going to make Chasca more OP and put her above. I think a lot of characters are gonna get buffed from the Pyro Archon, but Chasca should definitely be one of them. So let me know if there's any funky teams that you want me to try. Let me know what your thoughts are on Chasca if you're gonna get her, and make sure to enter the giveaway. And yeah, let me know any other thoughts you have. Take care. Bye for now.